Hello everyone. It's been a while. I know I haven't posted a video in a while, but I'm coming back. We'll see if this becomes a trend. If I'll continue making videos, haven't really decided. We'll see. But either way, I am back for some more power rankings. For this time for the Forge, and we're going to be starting with Aggron. And today I have a lovely friend of mine that you guys haven't met yet. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is DragonsofSmite. I also go by Andy, which a lot of the community knows me as.
Yes, I've called you Andy many times before. I
You
kind
can
of go
call me
back and
that now.
forth. Yeah, I kind of go back and forth between calling you Andy and Dragons. It kind of just
That's
is like
that's
whatever the day is.
that's the whole draft community, bro. Just Dragons, Andy. My server just never stops calling me Andy. So
Yeah. Well, either way, let's get some a little bit of lo-fi in here, so you guys get a little bit of music while we're going, and let's get started. So we're gonna be starting with the Aggron Division, which is the top division. You will notice that I am not on that division, and that is because I haven't played it in a while, and I wanted to just relax for a little bit. So I'm in the second
he's
highest.
actually just
But
trash.
don't
But
worry, don't worry. The Larion division is actually the better division because, as you'll see, half of these Aggron teams don't know how to draft, so it's okay. So
I mean, nor do I. I can relate on the not knowing how to draft, as you'll see when we get the Laron.
yeah, when we get to Larion. All right, but either way, so starting off with Skarouche, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah,
But
yeah, he's German. He's a good guy. I love
oh,
the
okay,
man.
that's dope as fuck. But either way, so this is his team. He's got Heracross, Crobat, Bronzong, Roserade, Persian Alola, Electivire, Seismitoad, Pyroar, Roar Turtle, and Wigglytuff. This is definitely one of the better teams that were drafted in Aggron. I will say that a good point is that he does have low hazard control. In fact, he only has two, and that's being Crobat is going to be his
Wartortle.
main, and War Turtle, which he is very rarely going to bring, especially when he has a better water type in Seismitoad.
For sure. I mean, the good thing is Wartortle has that pivot point, but you know, Seismitoad's like so flexible in fucking everything he can do.
Indeed, the
So
only thing he can't do is pivot.
yeah, but that is something though this team excels at, and he's got a lot of fast pivot mons. So Persian Alola, Electivire aren't bad. Crobat
yeah,
can't really complain with this team.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of bouncing around and really good flexibility with his team. The only other thing that I could possibly say is that his main wall breakers are a little bit slower. Heracross does like to benefit from webs to support, or even
For sure.
Tailwind if you wanted to go down that route.
Crobat's got that
I mean, yeah, Crobat does have Tailwind, but I mean,
with 130 speed.
what I mean. Yeah, because he's got a neat tailwind, right? But like the question for that would be like when could Crobat realistically go tailwind, right? Because with this team right now, he's kind of forced to be almost always going to go heavy boots with Roosts, with Defog,
Defog,
and
and then some
U-turn
kind of
because he
yeah.
wants some kind of pivot. So if he runs tailwind, he's a no attacking Mon,
Crobat.
which is just setup fodder. And Crobat has some like good, decent like moves to be able to use for coverage. Like if he wants to run Brave Bird to chip someone down, he can also run his
He
Sludge
can run
Bomb.
a special set with Crobat too.
Yeah, with Air
Crobat's
Slash
got
and
a
Sludge
pretty
Bomb
nice
too.
Special, yeah.
Yeah, so like Crobat 100% can be offensive, which he has to be careful with because that means he has to bring Roll Turtle. So that's kind of really the only downside. Realistically, as a grade, I'd probably just say A minus. The only minus being is because of the fact that Crobat is a little less flexible. He's more forced, given that your only other hazard control is War Turtle.
I do have to say, I will get to my grade in a second. Heracross being one of the best physical wall breakers and the rest of his wall breakers being special really does benefit for his team necessarily, because it can force a team to run more specially defensive, and then all of a sudden a Heracross is coming to swing at you with maybe a choice scarf set that it wants to run.
Yeah,
And next thing you know, is you're getting a Moxie Heracross in your face, and you have no idea how to deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes teams not be able to just go like a bunch of assault vests and just kind of do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like overall though, I will say that um you can also think of it like the other way as well, because like if Heracross comes in and just like it dies, then
Then yeah, you're
anything
having a
you have,
problem.
yeah, and that's that's always a worry and stuff like that too.
And Heracross has got a lot of weaknesses, so you always have to worry about that.
Yeah, true.
Um, I'll give it an A minus as well. I think this is definitely a very above average team, especially with the rest of the Aggron
All right,
uh,
perfect.
teams.
All right, so on to the next team. We have Epix's team with the Chai Cincenos. His team drafted Feraligatr, Salazzle, Ronimo, Florges, Duraludon, Pangoro, Claydol, Masquerain, Rampardos, and Banette. Another good team.
It's a good team. I always respect a man who will draft Rampardos. So props to you just on that one alone. He is slightly slow though. Like mid speed, he's got a lot of mid-tier speed mons, and then Salazzle.
True, like his speed is not the best, but he does have webs, so he can. The one difference between this team and the last team is that he has a way to make up for it. In his speed that is not reliant on a timer, but more in the sense of just if they have hazard removal, which is another reason why I'm glad he did pick up a ghost type. I mean, Banette is not the best ghost type, but it is a rapid spinner denier, and
and it was a cheap one. Excuse me. I'm surprised Bayonet was at like 3 points. It's not that bad of a mon.
It's not that good of a mod either.
Oh, it's not that good, but in low tier, I would take Bayonet as my blocker. For a really low tier.
I guess that is more of your line of thinking. I would not. Not a fan personally.
I don't know. I like Curse Body, tanky Bayonet sets, so I'm weird.
Yeah, but I will say something that, I don't know if you noticed this, but other than Salazzle, realistically, he doesn't really have a lot of special pressure. I mean, his Rotom can be offensive, but with the way he styled his team and stuff like that, it seems going to be more
pretty oppressive.
Oh yeah, I always forget Duraludon's actually special, isn't he? Not physical.
Yeah, it doesn't really have that good. I mean, it's got a physical move pool, but most people, if you're running physical, it's not even like physical. It's like that.
Yeah.
Iron
So then,
defense,
I guess never mind then, because I always, for some reason, I always thought Duraludon was physical. I don't like the mon, so I don't use the mon. I've never lost to the mon, so it always just seems to be an assault vest user. That's what it always seems to be.
It's a shame. It seems like it'd be such a good mon, and it's got like an pretty good design in No White Dragon, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it is a non-legendary Dialga stat-wise, or not stat-wise, but typing-wise. Steel Dragon is dangerous of a typing.
It's a good type.
But
one of the best ones out there.
Yeah, but I don't know. Where did Duraludon go wrong? That is a good question.
Stats and shitty move pool.
You know, that's usually what goes. You know, that's usually what happens.
It's got like 3 of the worst things. It's why it's so bad. It's like bad abilities,
bad stats, bad move pool,
bad stats. Yeah.
It got hit on all 4 cylinders. Yeah, I mean, this team also has really good pivot and stuff like that. And personally, I would say this team is just slightly better than what the last team was.
Honestly, I think otherwise, because I think because Scrosh, we didn't really talk about his defensive pivots, but he's got quite a few good ones. Here, you've got Florges, and that's it, and Claydol, I guess. And that's just about your defensive mons
I mean, Rotom is most likely going to be used defensively more often than not.
True.
And so I think it's going to be a bounce between Claydol, Fortress, and Rotom. And I think realistically they have good pairings between the 3 of them.
Does this team have a Fortress?
No, this team does not have a Fortress. No,
it doesn't have a Fortress. I thought you said Fortress. So I'm like, wait, this team
has
a Fortress?
No, Florges.
Oh, Florges, yeah. Wait, shit, what did I miss?
Yeah, I will say, like, an offensive, like, ice type probably kind of breaks this team a bit. Because, like, Salazzle's, like, his I mean, other than Duraludon, obviously, but like
Mhm.
Salazzle is probably his best defense against that, and she doesn't want to take hits.
Hits at all.
So, yeah. I mean, but other than that, realistically, this team doesn't really have any clear weaknesses other than that. So I think it's not bad. I would put this just slightly above the last team with just a flat A.
And I'm gonna go with a B plus with this team.
A B plus.
Also,
Okay.
besides Verona Mo, I don't see how this team's dealing with water types that well either. So,
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
everyone's got their opinion.
Hey, I mean,
So,
this is why I bring someone on here because I don't expect it to be the same.
exactly.
All right, let's keep going here. Tempest is our next runner-up here. So he has Empoleon, Tyrantrum, Wheezing Galar, Hitmonlee, Palossand, Centiskorch, Electros, Celigor, Volibee, I always say that name wrong, Audino, and Mr. Mime Galar. One of the very few teams that actually used all 11 picks. There's only 2 in Aggron that actually used all 11.
I don't like this team.
I don't
I'm
like
gonna say
this
it
team
flat out.
either.
I'm gonna say it outright. This team seems like setup fodder.
Yeah, I mean, you could see a little bit of like what they were gonna go for because they do have like what
Hmm.
2 in Burden Bonds and a Terrain Center.
Yeah.
They have like a lot of mons that really just want to set up, like Centiskorch, like Tyrantrum, even
Trump.
Empoleon. All of them really just kind of want to set up and then sweep.
But the issue is how you're gonna set up. Like, I don't see how you're realistically setting up with this team easily enough. Cause like to set up, you want to have a mon that can break or kill one of the mons that's gonna kill your setup mons. Tyrantrum's got like all the weaknesses under the block. And I guess you can go like your Unburden mons, but a Selgor is kind of trash with Unburden. Because you have like a 145 speed. I don't know how much more speed you need. And I mean Hitmonlee's a really good mon to abuse speed, but and and it's also fairy terrain, so Hitmonlee's not gonna benefit from it that much.
True,
I
true.
don't know.
And I
I
mean,
don't think
go ahead.
no, you can go. I just don't think this team's that like good.
Yeah, I would say definitely this is towards the middle of the pack, maybe even a little bit
Mhm.
lower. And I would say another thing that has been noticed by a couple people is that a mold breaker, ground type, or just with ground coverage,
Mm,
there's nothing to stop them. Literally
yeah, they're
nothing to
just
stop them. There is nothing. And that's rough. Now, the good news, I did a little digging. There's only
okay.
2 teams that drafted a Mon with mold breaker. And those two
And then plus the
teams.
Zygarde that will just go through
Oh,
the
and
shit.
Okay, so then that's 3
So we have
teams.
three
There's
then.
3 teams.
Yes.
So the Zygarde team is obviously one of them, which is the Chick Mix team. The team we just reviewed, which is Epic's team,
Mhm.
has 2 Mold Breaker bonds of both Red Pardos and Pangoro.
Let's go ramp.
And then a team that we'll look on a little bit later from now, which is Lucas's team, has Dredagon, which also has Mold Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only
Man,
mons that
Dragon's
have
gonna.
Mold Breaker, thankfully for him.
Mm-hmm.
But, being able to already guarantee or almost guarantee that you lose 3 matchups just
That's
because
not.
of one mon is kind of rough.
Mm,
Yeah, I would put this team around B minus.
That's exactly where I was gonna go. I would say B minus for this team. It's not that bad. It's just I'm worried about how he's gonna deal with somebody else setting up on him.
True. I mean,
So.
counter setup is probably another good thing for this team.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but let's get to the man that everyone's probably waiting for, Axostop,
Mm-hmm.
the owner of the league. He actually doesn't have a bad team. He doesn't
He
have a
doesn't have a
good
bad team
team.
at all.
Doesn't have a good team, but doesn't have a bad team. um,
He's rep. Taurus doesn't that have? No, it doesn't have Mold Breaker, does it?
no,
Am
it
I
does not
stupid?
have Mold Breaker. It has Intimidate, and it has let's. What's
Sheer
this?
Force. That's what I'm thinking
Ah,
of.
yes, Anger Point and Sure Force with Intimidate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, Life Orb Sure Force is probably going to do some damage, and it's got decent
Mm-hmm.
speed. But like, I don't know about after that. But yeah, so his team.
I actually really like this team.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the more you look at it, the more you're like, oh, this could work, and then the more you look at it, you're like, that doesn't work though. But his
Yeah.
team has Toxicity, Swampert, Moltres, Machamp, Tauros, Rapidash, Galar, Thwacky, Glaceon, Spiritomb, Seadra, and Fortress. Now, he has gone on record to say that he knows that this team needs some work and can be fixed, but he specifically wanted to try a couple Pokemon because he always says he will, but doesn't. And there's a reason why those Pokemon are usually not used. But you know what?
I mean,
Good for
I'll
him.
give it to him. At least he's happy, like, with the team he drafted. He's trying new mons. I always go back into the same drafting 6 mons on repeat, so at least he's breaking out of a shell.
True. Like we all have those special Pokemon that are just so reliable that we like to draft very often. I mean, I drafted Incineroar again. I've drafted Incineroar like so many times because it's so reliable and consistent. But
that's me with Porygon too.
But yeah. But I will say though that the top half of this team really is going to save him. It doesn't matter what he wants to try. He was able to get Toxicity, Swampert, Moltres. Those 3 alone are going to be fine to carry him for the rest of this draft. Like, honestly.
And they cover each other really well, too. Like, there's nothing break. They even, like, you can go Moltres, Swampert pretty damn tanky and just have Toxicity doing the damage. And just pivot between them 3 on repeat.
Yeah. Like honestly, those 3 together were. It's actually really ridiculous that he was able to get those 3 together. Like it's kind of not okay. I will say though, like if he's versing, like Pokemon that have a good coverage, because the one problem with that trio is that all 3 of them have a 4 times weakness. So like if he's versing a normal type probably has enough coverage to hit all 3. Realistically. So like if a fast normal type were to come through, he could lose to that. Now I doubt he gets blindsided about that, but you know, it could happen.
Honestly, an offensive water type also kind of goes through his team.
True. Swampert doesn't really have a way to break water types. So like if like another water ground type, like let's say like a setup Gastrodon comes through, I don't really know what he could do against the setup Gastrodon, to be honest. I don't know if anyone drafted Gastrodon. I'd have to look back, but just as a reference, Seismitoad is another good example because Seismitoad has grass coverage too. So
Gastrodon by Karak.
Yeah, so that is something, and then he's got Thwacky just in case.
I mean, Thwacky's not that bad of a mon. Also with nice passive regen for his Swampert's never a bad idea. Even though Swampert in grassy terrain is asking for a grass move to go at him.
It's asking for a grass type move, and it weakens his ground type moves. So like it's so counterproductive sometimes.
I know. I know there's a normal type that gets what's it called? Sap Sipper. Or
a normal type that gets Sap Sipper? There's a couple.
Honestly, like Bouffalant, I don't know if Bouffalant's taken yet, but Bouffalant over Tauros might honestly be better for him.
Just overall. For Sap Sipper?
Yeah, for Sap Sipper, if one takes a grass type move, get some passive regen. Bouffalant's not a bad mon.
Yeah, and
if you want to just...
what rank is Bouffalant? Do you know? Like what point value he is?
He's only 6, and he's 6. Available in Aggron.
Interesting.
So I mean,
all right. Well, you heard the news, Sexo. Get Bouffalant. That's your.
I'm not saying it's like you have to, but you could also upgrade different mons. Like I don't know what the Seadra is doing for you necessarily.
I still don't understand why he drafted Seadra.
I don't know either. Like. It's not a good offensive water type too. Like I could see wanting to pick one up. Seadra's not gonna do it for you.
Yeah, I don't know, but either way, what grade would you give him for this?
I'll give him a B. Maybe a B plus.
I gave him a B plus. I gave him a B plus.
It's just it's his later half of the draft, and then he has got a sneaky fortress there, which. You know, people are not going to prep for it because it's at the end and you're going to forget about it. But other than that, his top even Machamp's like really good if you want to go with a nice Machamp set.
Yes, well, all right. To go into our next person, I'm going to spoil it right now. I am actually a big fan of this team, and it is because of one thing, and that's they left Shell Smash Blastoise back into low tier. That is going to be a top tier, regardless of what your team is.
Imagine getting Blastoise, and then getting Registeel, and then getting Entei.
Yeah, and I don't.
It's. I'm not saying
Appleton is also
each other.
Like a really good pairing for Blastoise too. Appleton's actually a really good pairing because Blastoise's weakness is grass and electric, both of which Appleton just doesn't give a shit about.
Exactly.
Gligar, of course, grass is neutral, but he's also immune to electric. So like he has a really good team centered around making sure that nothing could really kill Blastoise. And I just think that this team just easily just walls you with Registeel, Gligar, Poison Spam, with Uxie kind of just running screens every so often, and then running your Stealth Rocks with Toxicroak kind of revenge killing with Scarf. I just think this team is just going to just slowly will you down, and then either Entei or Blastoise is going to come out and kill you. I expect Entei to kind of be banded or scarfed every week, because this should be your revenge killer, and Blastoise should win con. But like, on paper, this team looks really good.
Oh, this team's nasty.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah, the worst part is that when you first look at it, it doesn't look that good.
I think otherwise.
Well, when I first looked at this team, I looked at that bottom half of the draft and I was like, maybe not that good. And then I looked at it more and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, the Linoon Galar was like, I don't know about that.
I bet you he's just like, hey, I actually need to draft a 9th Pokemon because they're requiring me to.
He has another point. He has an extra point. He could upgrade that Linoon Galar to a fucking 4-point Mon.
I don't think it really matters. He's never going to bring it.
Yes, but like the 4-point Mon has Mons that are like somewhat better. He could have gotten Thievul, which is better than fucking Linoon Galar.
Okay, to be fair, it is a normal type, so it can block. No, wait, never mind. It can block ghost moves, but it's also a dark type, so I get never mind.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's immunity to both psychic and ghost type moves, yeah, but he's a dark type, so why does he care that he has immunity to both those two?
True.
He could just grab a normal dark type.
I think my favorite part about this team is how he's got 2 4x weak ice types, and then he's got 3 Pokemon.
And then 3 Pokemon that literally just don't give a fuck.
That just don't
and
give a
one
fuck.
of the Mons that he has 4 times weak to is Stickfat.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got 2 Pokemon that are really weak to water, and then you've got a Toxicroak that can run Dry Skin, and a Blastoise that can take that. This team's absolutely perfect in my eyes for a 9-point.
Yeah, this is by far, I think, the best team. I'm gonna give it an A on the ranks of A+. Only reason I would give A+ is if that Linoon changed to a better Mon.
I'll give it an A+, because honestly, even if he drafted a 4-point Mon, I never see him bringing it. So I'll give him the A+.
True, but you know, if you need it, it's better to have a Mon that's somewhat viable compared to a Mon that you're actually not going to bring. True. Like literally ever. Alright, so next team we have Batsy. This team, when you first start off, you're like, okay, this was going to well. Okay. And then it stopped going well.
I don't get it. I'm just going to be honest.
I'm not a fan of this team either.
His best core here is throwing webs up and then praying to God Chandelure does something. Like, I don't know what's going on
The webs is literally only for Gallade and Chandelure. Chandelure, a Mon that you're going to run Scarf half the time. And,
you negate that Scarf?
I don't understand.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, you have Noivern that's going to outspeed everything. Comfy that has priority, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Care about speed.
And then Steelix is not going to speed anything. It's not outspeeding
I don't know what this Alomamola's doing for this team. Like,
he needs to wish pass into something that can live.
Steelix? Yeah, he's gonna wish pass into Steelix, and that's all he's gonna do.
Yeah, this team is gonna have some rough patches, especially given that other than like Steelix being a defensive wall, he can't even really take much attacks. Like his
And he's
Olabola is going to die so fast because of how many
Mhm.
things he wants to switch it into. It's
Exactly.
rough. I can already predict what half his matches are gonna be. It's him spamming Wish Protect on Olamola and eventually switching out just to take half the health.
Pretty
It's
much.
what's gonna happen.
And then the offensive ground type's gonna come here with some kind of rock coverage and then just sweep this team.
But don't worry, he's got
Oh,
Tangela.
he's got a
He's
Tangela.
got Tangela though. Don't worry, he's got
Oh
this.
yeah, he can wish pass in the Tangela who's got regen and
Yeah, I
everything.
mean he can bounce back and forth between Aloma and Tangela with the regen core that he's got going for them.
Guys, he's gonna PP stall. That's what we've realized
Low
here.
key though, I think he has to. I think he's
Yeah.
actually gonna go toxic on as many monsters as he possibly can, and he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
PP stall until you don't got shit left, and then he's gonna bring out Noivern with specs or with throat spray, and just win the game there.
Boom burst.
I think that's his win con, and
Then,
that's a
then
sad win con.
why not grab more defensive mons at that point then? Like
I don't know. Also, just another point. His only physical attacker that's actually gonna do damage is Gallade.
Blade. Yep. And I don't understand why Steelix is. I think Steelix was a rob. I don't think 12-point Steelix is that good. So
Yeah, I think it's a little more expensive than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know. Skunk Tank being 8 points without pursuit. That sounds like
that's
bogus to me.
yeah, that's yeah.
I
So overall, I originally graded this a B minus, but I'm just gonna say C plus instead.
I was gonna say C plus Noivern Jerwincon. I don't know if you don't have webs up, you lost the game pretty much.
And
So.
that's not fun.
Yep.
All right.
And so you're just gonna have to bring Galvantula every game too. So that's
Yeah.
also not that good.
It's rough. Well, either way, going on to the next team, definitely a new refresher compared to what we just went with, and we have Lucas's team. Lucas's team is that those top two alone can probably win half the matchups for him.
Yep.
However, if
And
the
then-
rest of his team does not want to help him as much.
Honestly, it's weird because it feels like he just drafted two separate teams, and he's like, "How can I smash this together?"
Yeah, he drafted a really defensive team on top of the most offensive two top
Offensive
picks.
team.
Yeah,
Yep.
and Archeops too. Like he has three extremely hyper offensive Pokemon, and then the rest of his team are as slow momentum killers and as possible, right? And
I-
it's interesting.
Weird though, because I really like this team.
Yeah,
Like-
I actually this is actually one of the better teams in this division, which is kind of sad, unfortunately.
I don't think that's sad necessarily, because like Lefky, Vaporeon, Druddigon are such a stupid pairing.
True. I mean,
Like-
it is extremely annoying. He has really good, he has really good hazards. He's got two toxic spikers. He's got spiker. He has
Two
a normal spike.
spikers.
He has two toxic spikers. Runarigus and Roselia both have T spikes.
Yep. 3 Stealth Rockers. He's got a Rapid Spinner. He's got
Yes.
Defogger. He's got everything he needs on this team.
Yeah. However, when you look at this team, right, the only Pokemon that's above 100 or even at 100 is Archeops.
For speed, yeah.
Yes,
That
but
speed
and
is
of all the
lacking.
hazards, he doesn't have webs.
I mean, I don't know necessarily. I guess Porygon Z fucking
Porygon
loves
Z
webs.
and Blaziken both really like webs. Let's be
Uh-huh.
real here.
Actually, Pori Z.
The reason why it's 19, the reason why it's 19 is because of webs. Let's be real here.
Mhm.
If webs did not exist, it would not be 19 in low tier.
Oh, it would be a lot.
It would be like
Lot
16.
lower.
It would be like 16 maybe. But like, yeah. I like the team
Honestly,
though.
Yeah, I do like the team, and honestly, like screen setup is really nice for his team.
True.
Like keeping that Archeops above 50% HP is gonna be kind of useful.
I agree. Another
him.
thing that I will specify is his ground cover, or like his ground switch-ins is horrible. Archeops is his only answer to it. Blaziken is weak. Vaporeon is neutral. Klefki is weak. Morpeko is weak. Roselia is neutral. I mean, Runaricus is kind of the only thing he's got going for that.
You could go bulky Vaporeon if you need
I mean, you're always gonna go bulky Vaporeon.
Yeah, I know, but like specify 252 and then 252 to what either special or defensive ground types you're expecting.
Yeah, but like ground type is one of the most like like
diverse.
Diverse and also
it's on everything.
It is one of the most common coverage moves. So I think this is where this team is going to be hurt most, personally.
I don't think it's. He's going to have a problem with it. I don't think it's going to make this team. It's going to have a positive win rate, honestly.
Oh, I 100% agree. Like I'd put this as B+. I would have put A-, but the fact that Archeops is the only switch it for ground types, realistically, it was a little bit much. But yeah, so I say B+.
I'll for once go higher. I'll say A-. I really like this team. It's a neat looking team too.
Yeah, I could totally agree with A-. I think it's interchangeable for that. All right, so
it's also a very aesthetically pleasing team.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have fun.
He's gonna have a fun. If he doesn't bring Wobbuffet at least once, I'm honestly gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, but I mean, he can't bring Shadow Tag, so
I know no Shadow Tag.
No Shadow Tag Wobbuffet feels ass. It's actually so bad.
It's a 1-point mod, but I want to see him bring it.
I want to see him bring it too, just to. I just want him to see him bring it, and it's his last mon left, and it's a 1v1, and he wins because of it. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. All right, so Arcadian is the next team. This is one of the good teams. I like this team.
I like this team. At the same time, I just don't like any. As a personal preference, besides for Munchlax, I hate every single one of these Pokemon.
Really?
Like individually. Individually, I don't think Cobalion is a Pokemon. It's a Digimon. It's not a Pokemon.
You think it's a Digimon?
It's a Digimon. It's not a Pokemon.
I like Cobalion. He's fun. I mean, he's the least liked of the trio. I think Virizion and Terrakion are more personality and more fun.
I literally like the unicorn dog better than that one. I don't even remember its name.
The
Keldeo,
unicorn
I think?
Yeah. Keldeo? Keldeo was...
I like the My Little Ponymon more than
My Little Ponymon. I mean, Cobalion was supposed to be like the old wise one of the three, right? Mm-hmm. He's the first one you meet. Steel Fighting is such a unique type. And it is a very good offensive type. I think this but if we're looking at this team objectively, this is a good team. Regardless if you like the Mons or not, this is still a good team.
Okay, immediately I'm gonna say one thing. He's gonna have problems with ghost types, offensive ghost types, because only Mon is Muckalola. And I don't see you bringing Munchlax to deal with your ghost types.
I mean, Munchlax Eviolite is actually one of the better ones. It is a lot tankier than you think it is. Yeah, it is. Even Bronzor, I mean, he's never going to bring Bronzor because he has a Psychic and a Steel type anyway. So I don't know why he drafted it. But, like, it's still one of those things where, like, I would 100% see Munchlax coming to a game. Especially if they have a really offensive ghost type. Like, if they have, like, Poltegeist or something, Munchlax is coming.
What do you like about this team? Because I feel like you're overhyping this team in my eyes, but I want to see what you think about it.
I mean, when I look at this team, right, I think, like, let's see, they have good hazard control, right? They have Donphan and Cloyster for both rocks and both kinds of spikes. They have Defog, they have Rapid Spin, they have good cores, they have a Fire, Water, Grass core that actually works quite well with each other. Having like Cloyster's fighting type weakness is covered by both Talonflame and Decidueye. Like Talonflame doesn't even have to worry about ground types, even though he would have Decidueye for it. And the fire type weakness, and Talonflame's got that too, especially when it has. I think it has Flash Fire too, right? No, it doesn't. It's got the move that got
Flame
nerfed
body.
to the ground and Flame Body, yeah.
And Gillwings.
Gillwings, the move that no one uses anymore.
pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you have Alolan Muck, who's a really like consistent Poison Dark type. Literally, the only weakness being Ground type, and this team, of course, having like a couple weak to Ground, but both Decidueye and Donphan, and then Talonflame being immune to it altogether. Pretty good combination of that. I think he also has really good setup with both Cloyster and Gardevoir, and even Talonflame and Decidueye, because they all have like Sword Stancer and Nasty Plot and shit. If they really want to go down that road. And I just think overall this team is going to be really hard to break. And I think this team has a good win conditions. Cobalion's going to hit hard. Gardevoir's going to hit hard. Every single team's going to have to prep for Cloyster Shell Smash. And
it's a Shell Smash Mon.
It's a Shell Smash Mon with Skull Link. So which means that you have to prep for Ice, Rock, Grass, Water, Stabs. And it's basically Stab when you're +2 with Skill Link. So, and a Water type with Grass type coverage and Rock type coverage means that, like, certain mons that usually could wall it aren't. And that's why Cloyster is pretty fucking good. And I just think overall, this team just has really good synergy with each other.
You're talking about the issue I have is Fire is one of the most offensive types. And your resistance is a Munchlax, so thick fat, and a Talonflame with like a base 70 HP and like frail defenses. And everything else is going to get whacked by a Blaziken or an Entei.
I could definitely see that, but I strongly believe that Donphan can very easily tank those, like, very easily. I think Donphan is one of the greatest ground types to just wall a fire type.
You're gonna have to. That Gardevoir is gonna be pretty much wish passing to it then all the time with Teleport Wish.
I don't think it needs to be wish passed that often. I think because a lot of these mons actually have self recovery. Muck is usually gonna run Sludge. What's the fucking name of the item again? Black Sludge.
Black Sludge. Yeah.
I mean, Cloyster, yeah, you're going to probably want to wish pass to him sometimes and to Cobalion. But you also have Talonflame that has Roost, Decidueye that has Roost. And so they have good recovery on themselves. And I think that that Gardevoir should have a different set every week. I think it is flexible.
Week,
yeah, I think realistically it is flexible enough to be different every week. And yeah, I personally think this team has great synergy. I put it as one of the like more teams. I put it at A- because I do agree with the fire type and certain ground type weaknesses that it can have. So that's why I put it at A-, but I still think it is a pretty good team.
I also think it's got a really bad matchup against. It's just the ghost, the fire types. It's got a few like core types that's gonna struggle against. And honestly, I'd put it at like a B+ for this team. It's got its strengths. You listed them all, so I'm not going to go over them again. But, you know, it's a good team. It's one to feel threatened by. I'm just worried about some of its type matchups.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason why it's not higher than A-, because it does have those particular weaknesses. But I think you can do it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so starting on to the bottom 4 teams. Well, I mean, bottom 3 teams plus one that's okay. We'll start off with Marshy, a team that has no identity and is it.
Marshy, what the fuck did you drag? I understand. We understand. You're going Alolan Ninetales, Arctozolt. So we're like, yeah.
All right,
he's going
Hail Team, right? Yeah, Hail Team. You should grab Actrozolt, right? Or Actrovish, right? Actrovish should be your next Pokemon. What do you grab? Nothing.
Yeah, and then I'm like, your best next Pokemon to support your Hail is Quillfish.
Yeah, bro, that Quillfish is really gonna help you. But don't worry, Linoot's gonna come and belly drum in Hail.
Yeah. Oh man, that really wants chip. You want your stack attacker to come and set up Trick Room.
No. So here's what we do: we set up Hail. We set up the belly drum Linoot. Linoot dies. All right, new plan. Trick Room.
Yeah, we're just going 180. Who's gonna?
This team tells me that Marshy put all the Pokemon on a wheel and spun that wheel.
Fun.
And just picked it from there. because this team has like four different play styles of like 2 Pokemon each, right? So you have like Ninetales and Actresalt. Okay, Weather Team, got it. Then you have Golurk and Stakataka. Oh, you want to go Trick Room? Got it. And then you have Moltres Galar. Oh, you want a Pokemon that flies but doesn't have Defog? Gotcha. Linoon. Oh, you want to go Hyper Offense? Cool. If you want to go Hyper Offense, we'll throw Emboar on there. He can go all he wants if you want to keep going that.
Where does Emboar fit on this team? I don't know. There's nothing good that this Emboar provides you.
I had to put him in the Hyper Offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no more to say about this.
And then there's a Maractus. Like, what, are you so scared of your, like, 3 water weaknesses that you went Maractus?
No, it's his ground type weakness. He literally has a horrible ground type weekness.
He's got a horrible ground weakness, and he's got a horrible water weakness.
And he has a horrible fighting type weakness. And he has a horrible, like, everything weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. This team... I've seen worse teams, but this is pretty damn close to one of the worst teams I've seen.
You know, if Marshy were to fix this team a bit, I think this team could definitely be a
how.
top team. I think she has to draft, like, have to drop half her team and actually either commit to Hyper Offense or commit to Weather. I think that is her play here.
Personally. Or commit to Trick Room. Like, just pick one.
I mean, yeah, just one of the 3 that you decided to go with here.
Yes.
All right. Well, going into the next one after that fever dream of the draft.
we gotta rate this.
Oh yeah, I gotta rate it. I forgot about that.
I give it an E for effort was given, but F for not a single fuck was given.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a W for weather.
I appreciate that.
Yes, but realistically, this is the last. This is 100% number 12. Number 12. All right. Going on to a team that was horrid when they first drafted, fixed half of it, still has some problems, but definitely a lot better than what it was.
Okay, wait. I need to ask, because I wasn't really paying attention to Aggron. Did he actually pick Lycanroc Midnight as his first mon?
No, he picked Exploud as his first mon.
That sounds even worse.
His first 2 picks were Exploud Mismagius.
Oh my god. Why?
He didn't have Gastrodon. He had he had Araquanid instead of Gastrodon. And so what he switched is he got rid of Exploud and Mismagius and the Araquanid and picked up Gastrodon, Slurpuff, and Lycanroc.
Okay. Issue with this team is your most expensive mon is Flygon.
Yeah, Flygon is the power on this team, and that's a little bit rough. I mean, Zoroark is probably better in offensive power, to be fair. Flygon is just better because it has has so many fucking immunities.
I mean, I love Flygon. Flygon's got a special place in my heart.
Flygon's nice, but not nice enough. I will say
3. This whole team is just it's a shit show. I'm gonna be honest.
It's a shit show. However, when it comes to matchups, how the fuck are you supposed to prep for this team? Like, let's be real here. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 win cons. Like, how are you supposed to prep for this team? Like, this team makes no sense on paper. Absolutely none. But you can't prep for this team and feel confident.
How I prep for this team is I pick a whole bunch of moves, and it's guaranteed to OHKO something. Because he's got so many weaknesses that all these mons have that I have no idea how you're going to deal with it. Yeah. Slurpuff is probably your best mon here because he's got so little weaknesses.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I mean, he has what? He has 1, 2, 3 mons with 4 times weaknesses. None of those weaknesses being rare. I mean, he does have really good like surprise factor because like he's got Belly Drum, Sweeping, Slurpuff. He's got the No Guard Stone Edge for all days Lycanroc. He has got Flygon that after some D-dances can win the game. He has Virizion after a Swords Dance that can win the game. He has a Zoroark that if he catches you off guard, he can win the game. And he has Garbodor for hazard stacking. He has webs if he wants speed control. He has a Scarf Typhlosion that everyone knows he's going to run Scarf every week. And he has a Xatu for magic bouncing, so he only is the one with hazards on his team. Eventually, that Xatu should die every matchup because he should switch it in every single time that a hazard could be put out.
Yep.
Because as soon as his Xatu dies, that should be his trigger button to start killing people. Immediately switch in Slurp Off. Immediately switch in Slurp Off and be like, all right, it's time. Belly drum.
Belly drum. He's got. He's such a ice weakness. He's got bad fighting weakness. He's got bad ground weakness. He's got bad fairy weakness. He's not got a good ghost matchup. It's just water's not that good, like defensively for his team. But
no.
I guess Gastrodon's there. Never mind.
Yeah, Gastrodon's a really good answer to that. But yeah, so. I would say definitely better than Marshy's team. He's got that going.
Yeah. I
That's the new standard. That's the new standard.
Are you above Marshy's team? If yes, then your team should do something.
Yeah. All right. So I put him at B-. I was a little bit nicer just because his offensive threats were enough for me to put him above C.
Yeah, he's got win cons. Definitely. I just see his team struggling in my eyes.
Yeah. Want to see another team that's going to struggle? Our next team. Click.
Nope.
Chungus with the same weaknesses that Kyric has, but with not nearly as many win cons. He's got Slowking. He's got Slowking and Cineroar. He did so well. He got those two, right? Then he's got Swellow, Breloom, and Lycanroc, right? He's like, all right, I've got 3 super fast fucking Mons. I've got 2 really good cores. What the fuck do I do after that?
Yeah. This team is so knockoff weak, too. Like, unintentionally.
He has 3 Mons that
really
need
good
to...
Mons that can take knockoff, but... they don't want to get knocked off. That's the issue.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Mons that are going to bait knockoff.
Yep.
Every single time that it can be. Slowking, Rotom, Ferroseed, Gabite, Togekick, always taking a knockoff to the face. Lycanroc very often, especially if it's banded, wants to get knockoff to the face. Breloom usually runs Sash with its lead and Cancer with that. Swellow, who's usually going to run Specs, is going to do the same thing. It is actually... Or Flame Orb. Like, literally, looking at this team, every single one of his Mons, bar Incineroar, is going to do one thing. They're going to do it every week. And it's really just going to be, do you have a matchup? That is all it's going to be.
Yep, pretty much. And the thing is, it's like Incineroar can take these knockoffs, but Incineroar loves having an item.
He does.
So,
he really does.
If he gets knocked off of like heavy duty boots or leftovers.
Yeah, lefties, HBD, even Assault Vest, weakness policy very often too. Like, Incineroar can run a lot of things. He's very flexible.
Yeah, and it doesn't want to lose that item.
He really doesn't.
One of your only things that can take a knockoff nicely. That's worrisome for me.
Yeah, I almost feel like Slowking and Rotom are gonna run Culper Berry.
Oh wait, that's yikes.
Yeah.
I like this team. It's just
I don't.
You know.
I don't.
I don't think it's that bad.
It started off great.
I think it's gonna go positive. You know, or at least neutral. I will give it the hope.
You think that you think the fact that his Steel Fairy Dragon Core is all non-fully evolution Mons is good?
Yes. I think this team will go neutral.
I don't think this team will go neutral.
This team will go neutral because there's some really bad teams in Aggron.
There are some pretty bad teams, and I think this one is right there with them.
And you can always just not bring the Fairy Steel Dragon Core if you don't really want to.
Imagine not being able to bring your Steel Fairy Dragon Core.
Fairy Dragon Core, yep. It's
Alright, and on to our last one, who
we gotta grade it. You forgot about grading.
Oh, you're right. This is a C, C-.
I was gonna give C plus-ish range.
Yeah. Yeah. So the last team on our list is going to be Jake Mix,
I like this
which
team.
this is a better team. This is definitely a better team. Does have
He
some
should.
problems,
He is.
but definitely a better team.
I honestly think that the first and the last person should always have some of the best teams. So, I mean, he's got a pretty decent team. I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, I will say this is one team that if you watch the other power rankings done by EXO, this is going to be the one person that's actually going to change, like the actual change compared from that one to this one, because after looking over the teams again, his spot does change for me.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's the one person that after I sent it in, I went, "Fuck, I need to switch that."
Like he's got a nice. Now I just realized something. He doesn't have real. Wait, never mind. I'm dumb. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say something because he's got his. I was gonna say he doesn't have the dragon part of Steel Fairy Dragon,
he
and
does.
there's a fucking Zygarde right there.
He definitely does. I will say though,
like,
the
he
steel.
does.
I will say the steel part of that core is a berserker, which isn't the best steel type. It's not a defensive steel type. That is an offensive steel type, and he also is an offensive dragon type. So of that core, he has a very defensive fairy type, and a very offensive other two types, which is rough.
He does make up for it. He's got a decently tanky. Like Tentacruel, Umbreon, Miltank can run pretty tanky.
Yeah, he has
Rotom
a very
tanky
team. Now, one thing I will say is if Zygarde dies, who's killing anything?
Delphox, and that's it. Miss Magius, if you want to bring it, I guess.
Yeah, Delphox has one of the weirdest typings, and it is not good defensively. It cannot take hits.
Well, that's most fire types in general. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but most fire types at least can take a hit.
One. Yes.
Delphox can't take a hit.
Pretty much. It's one of those mons that just got 8 weaknesses.
Yeah, I will say I like that his team is extremely fast. With Zygarde, Delphox, Tentacruel, Miss Magius, all having quite decent speed. Miltank is also really speedy.
Speed.
Yeah, but this team is going to stall the fuck out of you with Umbreon, Aromatisse, and Miltank until you want to bleed through your eyes. And then when you're done that's when Zygarde comes out and whips the team.
Yep. I really like this team. I think it's one of the top 5 in my opinion.
I think for me he just misses out in the top 5.
That's fair.
I
think Delphox is a shitty Pokemon, and that honestly is what ruins it for me.
You think Delphox is the linchpin in this team?
I literally think Delphox is not. It's not a Pokemon. It's another Digimon right there.
It's another Digimon.
It is another Digimon. Look at it. It looks awful. It doesn't look like a Pokemon.
That is indeed rough.
and it's got shitty moves. When is Magician ever going to be actually used? I've seen that being played once viably, a Magician set.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I am not the person to try to figure that part out.
Yeah, I don't know. And the funny set is that Delphox set that he went should not have worked. But the other person was so stupid and fell for it that it made it work. And it was really hilarious to watch.
You're right.
So,
I agree.
Literally what he did is he was playing against an Aromatisse. He switcherooed the Aromatisse who had its item knocked off prior, so he got no item. And then got a choice scarf with the Aromatisse. Aromatisse swapped because he thought he was going to, die or something, or couldn't do. I think he got locked in Heal Bell or something into a Scarfer that would then kill Delphox. But then Delphox just ended up hitting the Scarfer, taking the scarf, and just killing him.
That's rough.
It was really rough to watch, but it was really smart. So.
All right. Well, either way, so that is the end of the individuals. So now it's time for the rankings. For everyone on stream, I'm going to be putting mine up there right now. Boop. And here is my rankings from 1 to 12.
And I don't remember my ranking, so I know it's Marshy's at shit 0.
Marshy's at shit 0, and there's some other ones at the top. So
yeah, there's some other ones at the top.
Yeah, so for me, my going down the list is I think that Noor is number 1. I think Epex is number 2. Skaroosh is number 3. Arcadian is number 4. Lucas at 5. Jake Mix at 6. Exo at 7. Tempest at 8. And then the bottom 4 of Kyrak at 9. Batsy at 10. Chungus at 11. And Marshy at 12.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to what I would put.
Yeah, maybe like a couple switched around or something, because you're not the biggest fan of Arcadian's team. I think his is a little bit better and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, Arcadian probably lower. Jake Mix maybe higher.
Yeah, you would probably switch Jake and Arcadian, because I have Arcadian at 4 and Jake's at 6, so you'd probably just flip them.
I think might just switch those two.
Yeah, well, either way, thank you all for watching. After this video, we will also have the Larion and the Aggron, so if you're a part of those divisions, stay tuned. They'll be coming after this. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
We'll see you then. Bye-bye.